everyone. And we have Brendan, Eamon, Cleve, Anthony, Tony, Ross, Dean, and Oopsie.
That's not good. That's right.
And you have to Yeah, welcome everyone. As usually, anyone would like to take a challenge and give us a little introduction, give us a spiel, put together what's true for you, what's experienced. No takers? But use this.
Today.
Not yet. Okay. Yeah, so it really is, you know, when you look into your own direct experience, the truth that is impossible to deny is the fact that you exist. You are. Even to look whether that's true or whether to deny it, you have to exist first. So this is really it. I was asked recently how come I can ramble about an hour about that stuff by a person who totally resonated, but she says if she's asked to talk about it, there's nothing coming up. I say, well, the nothing is an equally beautiful expression of that certainty of existence, the no words, the silence. It is equally beautiful. And no one has a saying. There are people who express through music or through the labor, or they express love to their pet animals, and they are no people. This is all just the same one life experiencing and expressing through and us, everything. And the description, some people will have the thing for a description, and it will be really, really easy to just get grounded in that experience of existence and see what comes up to describe it. It's a shared experience. There's someone at the door. And in that experience, because it's shared and because it has, hi Jimmy, has no qualities whatsoever, it can't be said to be more somewhere than the other. Like you can't be more existing than, you know, that talking stick is existing. The qualities of existence are none. There are no qualities. So in that fact of existence, there is no separation. The existence of space, the existence of people, existence of thoughts, existence of anything is the same existence, just showing up in different patterns and shapes and forms. And there are other troubles with the idea of separation because it's a popular spiritual slogan. Oh, there is no separation. We are all one. What a nonsense. What does it mean even to say we are one? You know, if there is we, as obviously showing up, there is more than one. So how do I understand the no separation slogan or concept in a way that it is actually clear? Why would that concept or slogan even be used as a pointer? Because it is good enough pointer if you know where to look. And the easy way to see it is to see how separate are the objects of seeing from the capacity for seeing. Bob would often end the whole spiel by bringing the attention back to the fact of seeing. He would say seeing is always the same. You wake up in the morning and the content is different than now, than yesterday. But the capacity for seeing, or that space of your gaze, is always the same. And that gaze, that seeing, does not differentiate anything. And he would again show it by, okay, look around the room very quickly, label what you've seen. And you'd label 5, 6, 7 things maybe. And the rest would be registered, but not labeled. So the seeing capacity indiscriminately allow everything that appears in the sphere of seeing. That's its nature. And the same with being, the same with knowing. This capacity is universal and it doesn't have preferences. is space-like. Space allows everything, and nothing can be separated or postulated out from the space. And this is the easiest way to understand where is that pointer pointing, the separation, how things are separated. The baby is born and is looking out and is not even seeing things. It's more or less a homogeneous blob for a couple of weeks. There is no differentiation. Later on, of course, the sounds are differentiated, but there is no concepts of that. It's just a sphere of hearing with different appearance on it. But there is no labeling. This sound I like, this I don't, this is tall, this is high, this is low. That one comes with the language. So the whole sense of separation comes with the language. If we look at the animals roaming around the room, obviously they don't consider the wall being inseparable from them. They don't bump into them. They know where the door are, so they can see objects in space. But there is no concept of that whole movement to be separate. The experience is really about the consciousness still and the world moving. So when the cat is sitting on the lap and is purring, and there is a hand moving, but the cat is still. When the cat is moving through the room, there is a room moving. The cat is still. And there is no conceptualization. There is no language, as far as we know, to imagine that there is someone there inside the cat who controls or chooses where he's going to go or what he's going to do. Natural attraction, natural aversion moves the cat towards the food when it's hungry. And the same thing happens. The same way of living happens to the grass, to the trees, birds, fish, everything, and humans too. Though humans learned language, and this is where Bob would bring up the metaphor of eating the fruit of knowledge, of the tree, fruit of a tree of knowledge, of good and evil, which is the knowledge of differentiation, labeling. This I like, this I don't like. This is chair, this is a cat, and this is a whatever. So now the separating objects by sticking labels on the objects came into existence. So there's nothing wrong with the language. Language is absolutely phenomenal. It's a beautiful, beautiful capacity that this human pattern has. Who doesn't like a beautiful way that it joins us together through shared stories, like shared pointers of non-duality or religions or nationalities or anything that is like a myth that joins people in a larger group and made that life essence play the game of whatever, husband and wife or child and a parent, or all the relationships, beautiful. Though if we for whatever reason, if too much of the fanatical belief goes into a story, and the story is not considered what it is, a story, but the reality, then it kicks in with the psychological suffering. Now, if my story is I'm a person, I'm not good enough, I'm too fat or too old or too stupid, and this is not recognized as just a piece of narrative appearing in consciousness, inseparable from that consciousness. It feels like that's the reality, that's true, and that's relevant, that's me. And the world outside of that label stuck on the consciousness here is completely separate. And on top of that, there is something wrong with me. And if that's believed, that's experienced. And that experience is psychological suffering. Because no matter, starting from the point that I'm not good enough, I'm a person, I'm a human being, no matter where am I going to go, 20, 30 years of the therapy, courses, psychedelics, no matter what I'm going to do with my life, the wrong assumption will persist on the bottom and will be just calling out through the so-called confirmation bias to show the smallest thing going out. You see? That's exactly right. I can make myself believe, I can hypnotize myself, and I've seen that amongst people. Yes, I know there is no self, I believe that. Hello. Oh yes, I am God, or I am space-like. Check with your psychiatrist. the delusion of grandeur. This is not about believing a new set of concepts. This is about questioning what's true right now. And is that true that I am a person? Well, not in my experience. In the experience, being a person is a concept, is an idea, is mental projection, is an image, not the truth. What's the truth of the experience? Well, there is seeing happening, there is content of the seeing happening, there is hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, there is sensations, projections, perceptions, all of that is happening within that field of presence that the closest you can come to it is to call it I am, or existence, pure being. So it doesn't contain, and even if it does contain of an idea of being a person, well, that's just a part of the content. Idea of being a person. I could have an idea of being whatever, a bird. And believing the idea or not believing the idea makes a huge difference. Freedom versus suffering. If I believe I am limited, poor, miserable human being, I'll experience myself as limited, poor, miserable human being. But wait a minute, who believes that? If we say there is no one there who can make choices or think thoughts, who is there to believe it? And then we can look again how that whole belief system or whole conditioning came into existence. And that will explain that it doesn't need any agency for the belief to exist. It doesn't have to be anyone there for the body to act out and believe as if it was a separate individual, and the mind act as if it wasn't good enough. You can see the conditioning, the hypnotism. Bob would often say about the stage hypnosis, when being hypnotized to believe that you are a good little boy or you are a bad little girl, and then collecting more of the evidence of being something or the other, is rehearsed 24/7, 365 days a year. So no wonder it is never questioned. And so is the situation for majority of the people, and those people influence people, your parents, your school, your society, your politician, except you. So they all repeat the same collective story of individuality. The whole culture, the whole Western culture is conditioned to bring up the uniqueness of every individuality. And nothing wrong about that either. If you can see the uniqueness and realize that still every single pattern, as unique as it appears, and there is no pattern that is not unique, even the fingerprints or the drops of water, they're all unique, are an expression of the same consciousness. They all happen within that presence, within that awareness of being. So Bob would say, can you postulate anything outside of space? Or can you get something out of nothing? Space is no thing. So everything that appears in space is an appearance, is the no thing appearing as that unique pattern of fingerprint or a thought or a planet or a city or religion. All unique patterns. And it feels, because we are still somewhat viewing that incredible dream from the perspective of a dream character, it feels like, no, this is real and it is solid because the dream character is real and is solid. But how about when you dream at night? How real and how solid the interactions, people, relationships appear when you are dreaming? The solidity of the dream, if you happen to remember it. If not, Dean can recommend some good herbs, make the remembering dreams, mugwort and other stuff, very healthy, very totally legal. So you can then remember how incredibly real people, mountains, buildings, interactions, emotions in the dream appear to be. And then when you wake up, where did they go? What happened to them? The solidity of the body flying in the dream, the solidity of the fight if you have, where did it go? Was it ever real? So this dream, this waking dream, is no different. Though when the dream character, when you wake up from the dream of being a dream character to this character, the other one may not have any resemblance or may not leave any traces. The only thing that is common between the dream character that you were and the dream character that you are is the presence, the sense of presence. There is the same presence in the dream when you climb the mountain, or you fly, or you run away, and the same presence right here in this dream when you sit still. So, but waking up from this dream for a moment is not on the menu and not recommended, because we don't want anyone to drop the body and wake up as the pure consciousness, the space that you are. Waking up to the dream is on the menu. When you realize that this is the dream also, but you stay in the position of a dream character, experiencing the whole dream, experiencing yourself as the life essence, showing up as the pattern of thought, a pattern of feeling, pattern of conditioning, of memory. And at the same time, through that dream character, you know you are life. You're still going to be speaking with the same silly accent, or you're going to be speaking with the same emphasis, use the same choice of words. There really is no different. The recognition or the realization that there never been an agency, an imagined person that was thinking thoughts and making choices or decisions, doesn't change anything in choices and decisions. It's not like 10 years ago I was making decisions, or 20 years ago I was making decisions and now I don't. Back then, decisions were happening in the same way any other thought is happening. The thought may happen in few minutes, which I have no idea what it will be. I'll be discovering as much by hearing it as you hearing it. Same with the decisions. The decisions were made and they were discovered in the mind as the thought. Sometimes what was discovered was indecisiveness, the life essence patterning and making a form or shaping as indecisiveness. Oh, should I choose this partner or this school or this meal? That's what shows up in consciousness. And that is another pattern discovered in that incredible dream. Like everything else, everything, if it is just another transformation of consciousness, dancing with itself, showing itself in that different form, how is it me? How is it personal? And what does it matter? What business of mine is to fix it, alter it, modify it, or correct it? And if the urge to fix it and alter and modify and correct or heal it shows up in consciousness, again, what the business of mine is that? That's just another completely impersonal pattern in which, through which, and as which the consciousness experiences and expresses itself. So there is always a way to step back and see the whole landscape. Right at this moment, there is existence. Within that existence, there may be an idea, oh, I'm a woman talking. Or there may be, oh, what an idea. And then there may be a feeling. And there may be a judgment of feeling. And there may be a desire to maybe modify the feeling or change the feeling. That is the landscape. All of it is just the way life essence experiences. It experiences and expresses and appears as everything. That's the title on one of Bob's books. And it's a brilliant title because it actually includes every expression. Thought is expression. Mental image is expression. object, physical object, is an expression. The idea, the grand ideas of values like countries and planets and universes and dreams, what are they? They just another way that one essence experiences and expresses and appears as everything. And all of that, can you separate that from that cognizing emptiness, that field of knowing, capacity for knowing? Just like, can you separate anything that you see from the capacity for seeing? If the capacity for seeing isn't there, all the content isn't there either. But because of the nature of the mind, and I'm driving the pointer that I started, that Bob usually ends the session with the capacity of seeing. So you can, how does he say it? Can you see right now? Can everybody see right now? Yes, I can see. Okay. So the seeing is happening. Seeing is happening effortlessly. But the mind comes and labels the seeing as this is I and see and that. So suddenly one singular capacity is split into three: me, the seeing, and the object, subject, object, and the process. But can you actually separate any of it? Any of it? Can there be an object if there is no one seeing it? It can't be experienced. It can't be believed, but there's still, it can't be experienced. Can there be a seeing if there is no one that sees? So it really is one. So the mind divides it. And this is how the whole conundrum of the separation came into the picture, through the mind. In the beginning was the Word, says the Bible, and the Word was God. So the Word suddenly split and separated me from you, this planet, this room, that country, that belief, that experience. And how wonderful. Thanks to that, the dream gets really, really juicy, colorful, intense, and beautiful. The roller coaster, ups and downs, and sadness and joy, and tragedy and drama, and this and that. Wow. Again, with the little fine print, unless you believe it. Because if you do, welcome to hell. It gets personal, it gets private, it gets unbearable. And I've been there for the first 4 decades of my life. And it wasn't that much fun. Of course, there were moments of pleasure. Otherwise, it probably wouldn't last that long. But life really, awakening to the dream, life really starts when you look at things from the point of experiencing rather than believing the narrative about it. When you see that in this moment, this room is happening in the field of seeing. The sounds are happening in the fields of hearing. And with all of your presence, all of your heart, you are here with this sensation of butt sitting on a sofa, without even a narration that, yeah, see, this is a butt and this is a sofa, there are two. Without any belief in any story about what is happening. There is such a juicy experiencing of existence happening without needing to translate it. Yes, but today is fine. There's nothing wrong right now. Yeah, if I don't think about it, but tomorrow I'll have to go to work and deal with my horrible boss. Well, where is it now? What is it now? This is a story. And this is trading the unborn Buddha mind for a thought. And again, this story comes from love of being, from that survival mechanism that has been developed throughout the whole life, for that body-mind to be able to be, because it loves to be, so that life essence, which is it, not just it, but is experiencing and expressing through it and as it, can see. If not for the body, couldn't see, hear, taste, touch, smell, even in the dream. There is a body with a capacity of seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, a dream body, different one, because the physical body is asleep and it doesn't move and the eyes are closed, so there's no using of this body when you dream at night or when you fantasize through the eyes of your imagination. There are other worlds to be experienced. So the vehicle stays alive by default because of the love of being, knowing, loving to be. So staying alive might mean different strategies for survival, might mean going to a heroin addiction, because that's the only way the pain can be anesthetized to the point that the body stays alive. That's a pretty extreme example, but there are milder strategies. For example, people pleasing, or for example, stealing, or manipulating. Anything that this body-mind machine needs to do to stay alive so that life essence can experience and appear and express through it, as it, and enjoy the dream. So doubting your actions is basically the same mechanism of delusion of entity, taking credit, in this case negative credit, guilt, shame and remorse for something that it hasn't done, because there is no one there doing anything. If the body is conditioned and it's a cat's body or dog's body or mosquito's body or human body, is conditioned with the computer, of course, that's one thing. You can't separate body from the mind. Try. So if this body is conditioned for love of being, the strategies that it develops throughout life are the best possible strategies in given environment. And if you doubt it, go to the point, any point in your life, and find yourself with the information that you had and feelings that you had, attachments that you had, and see if there really was an option, if there really was a choice to act in any other way than you did act. And then you will know that you are not the doer. Then you will know that there is no sense of shame or guilt or remorse even possible if you didn't do it. If the body interacting with the environment, conditioned by the environment, responded to that environment as if they were one, inseparable. There's no person who's ever done anything wrong. All right. Yep. You know. No. Yes, and this is where the freedom comes from. The freedom of living a life of explorer, discoverer, adventurer, where you look around and you feel, oh, but there is a shame coming up. I just yell at that poor bread roll seller in the shop. Wow, what a beautiful feeling. Of course, it's a social conditioning. How cool. Let it be there. So the sense of shame is another way that self-organizing universe through social conditioning self-regulates. Wonderful. So why would I feel bad that this brilliant feedback mechanism works as it should? Amazing. So now when there is an experience of sadness or joy or shame, wow, what a great, incredible vibration. It moves through the body, it shrinks the lungs, it changes the breathing, it creates mental images. Wow, what an incredible show. And then it comes with the narrative, it comes with label, it comes with all the past memories. Like Bob, not everybody knows, but when he was discharged from the Navy, he had a diagnosis of anxiety neurosis. Fear, anxiety, that was his main emotion. He might have appeared for the last 50 years of his life as overly confident and fearless, because he was always confronting his fears. That was just the tendency of the body, that was just the conditioning of the body. But he would often answer a question for people who would come with anxiety neurosis. A lot of anxious people were attracted to Bob and would come and ask, what about that? What about panic attacks? What about anxieties? What can I do with that? And then he would say again, notice the vibration, take the label off the feeling and see what is really going on in the present moment, not in the story. In the story, there might be an anxiety, there may be a performance anxiety, there may be a fear of future. Interpretations of that vibration again will depend on the environment. If the environment is conducive, that same vibration may be interpreted as an excitement. You're about to see a loved one for the first time in this week. Woo! That's the same emotion. Take the label off, be a discoverer, be an explorer, be curious about it, be mind blown by it. Living the life as if everything is fresh and new. And isn't it? Every moment is fresh and new. Has never ever been like this before and will never ever be like that again. Fresh and new. Every response to the moment is fresh and new. You don't know how you're going to respond to every new moment. Instead of just being interested in the environment, include the body mind to it. It is an environment too. Include the costume. What this body mind is going to do in this situation, let me see. What the body mind is going to, how is the body mind going to interact with the cat right now? Well, let me see. And with that, let me see, with that open childlike curiosity, you're welcome to heaven. Kingdom of heaven, they say, unless you are like little children, open and curious, you can't enter the kingdom. But it is always here. He says, meow. Yeah. So, always here, always in the menu, always for taking. Pure and basic recognition that unless you think, unless there is a belief going into the sense of identity, belief, habitual attention movement, there is nothing wrong. And this moment is really fresh, it's really colorful, it's really intense and beautiful. There's nothing wrong. And even if the stories about my traumas or my relationship difficulties or my plans and my boss and whatever appear within that ever fresh present moment, even if that thoughts, that clouds of what is not happening is going to cover completely the sky of this moment, but you see them for what they are. Wow, what a beautiful ride. It's still a beautiful ride. The whole past accessible. The whole fantasies accessible. The traumas absolutely validated. Everything in the dream, within the appearance. Wow, beautiful. In the sphere of seeing, hearing, tasting, touching, smelling, and imagining. Because thinking is imagining. And there is nothing wrong because they are appearances. They're not me, they're not mine, they're not personal. I think that's enough for the introduction. It's been half an hour. Tanya, you wanna...
Another really powerful spiel. Space allows everything, he said. Space just allows everything. You don't allow everything. You as the individual. You can't stop anything, make anything happen. You don't give permission. It's just happening. But we give instructions because that's how we communicate, you know. Be awake. How can you not be awake, though? But being just the grace that flows from the words, the expression is, you know, enough. You just don't have to, there's no requirement to analyze, even understand. It just happens all of its own accord. You can't rush anything, you can't delay anything. Just there's really nothing to be done. Chill. Chill. What the heck?
Chill and enjoy the ride. We have a few messages here. Greetings from the USA. And Julia also says, so saying we are all one is basically another concept. It's kind of a silly concept, but it's okay. I mean, it's a pointer. If you know where it points, you know, every word is a concept. There is no pointer which is not conceptualized. I mean, unless there is silence, that's the pointer non-conceptualized.
All one is like, there's no, it's sort of a shorthand way of saying there's no separation.
Yes.
It's all happening in consciousness, all of it. Nothing is outside of it, independent of it. It's just all happening. It's the same kind of, all is one sounds kind of.
It says we.
We are all one. We as appearances are all one. There is no separation. It sounds kind of mythical and, or, you know, we are all one, you know, like some kind of, but it just means take a look. Nothing happens outside of consciousness. Nothing ever. That's all it is.
Yeah, and can you separate any dream character or any dream object from the dream you slept last night? They're completely one. But yes, I was just laughing at we and one. It's kind of singular and plural. And Julia also says, so if someone struggles with anxiety or worry, there is no me that needs to stop worrying or improve. It's more realizing that there is no one there to improve and it's just life unfolding. Yeah, that's beautifully put. Yeah, it doesn't mean that there won't be a movement towards regulating, towards soothing that nervous system. There may be also just a movement to take the label off and explore it. And if there is any need for any, like whatever aspect of that life essence appearing as a voice of a child or a fear or something, could be just as beautifully embraced as a part of the totality. So there is no, like Tanya says, you know, it seems like there are instructions. Do this, watch, investigate, relax. There's no one to instruct anyone. There is just flow of pointers that nobody does. And for nobody. It is just what's happening. And sometimes, as everyone knows, even the cat and dog can be inspired by hearing their name and they'll run. So the life experiencing as a song, expressing as a poem or as a word of inspiration, that's just what's happening. There is no need for explanation. And beautiful what Tanya said, this is the main thing, and Bob would hammer it forever. No answer in the mind, no need for the answer in the mind. Answer in the mind is an obstacle. Not only is unnecessary, is always wrong. Anything that you put in words, word is not the thing. Any pointer, if you stick onto the sounds and the words, you're looking at the finger, not at the moon. So really, everything that can ever be said in words is said by using ideas and concepts. But they point to somewhere, and they simply are, because, you know, Bob would in the middle of a spiel ask people, are you unaware? Are you unconscious? Now he's asking question, have a look. And obviously you can't deny the fact of your own existence. And you can, but you have to exist to even deny it. So this is a pointer. This is the pointer that does not require that many concepts. And it doesn't suggest that there is anything that needs to be understood. It is verified directly in this moment, yes. And that yes is the same yes that Buddha would answer, or Jesus, or Nisargadatta, or Bob. The same yes. In that awareness of existence, there is no separation. Your awareness of existence is equal to awareness of existence of this cat, or the tree, or whatever, the God, is the same. The problem starts when the mind comes with the story that this is not good enough. I need the ecstasy, pleasure. And again, I had few phone calls this week, and some of them were about, yes, but I expected that I will never experience anxiety. I will never experience anger. I'll never experience any form of emotional dysregulation when I see that there is no I. Well, in fact, when you realize there is no I, it's not I that experiences the anger or dysregulation or the fear. It's just the appearance of a vibration in the space, in a consciousness. There is no experiencer as such. But at the same time, why would that vibration be suddenly banned from existing? Because of what? Because of the fiction that has never been real? That's unrealistic and illogical.
Because of a label, a word called anxiety, which comes with all sorts of expectations and meaning.
Rescue a paste from him. Oh yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, no, he pushed your
Expressed his preference.
I have preference for non-violence towards my animals, not mine. But yeah, go for it.
But just as there is no I, there is no anxiety. Anxiety is a sound. The word anxiety brings up, a whole bunch of concepts about future suffering and current suffering and blah blah blah, past suffering. But it's just a sound.
Exactly.
It's just a sound, but it's a concept that many carry around, seemingly. But I expected, if I'm resting in awareness and awake all the time, then why do I experience this anxiety? Well, do you?
Yeah.
Do you?
Yeah.
Take a look. What's actually happening? If it's when it's another instruction, good idea to actually take a look at the body. What's going on? Rather than being stuck up here in this loop of anxiety. Okay, let's go. Let's take a look. What's happening in the body? Paying attention, because where attention is directed is, of course, what is the experiencing is where the attention is directed. And there'll be a recognition that this thing that you call anxiety is not one thing. It's an experiencing that changes all the time. It's not always there. Can't possibly be. If it was, you wouldn't know anything about it. If you were constantly anxious, how would you know that you're anxious?
No reference point.
Reference point.
Yeah, and experience, as probably everybody realized by now, is only possible from the background of its opposite. Little children, unless they really sick or handicapped, they don't understand the concept of health because they've never lost it. It's for granted. It's taken for granted. As they grow up, suddenly the pains and aches come along. Suddenly the flu, one, second, or third, and then okay, that's what they talk about: health versus absence of it, pain versus absence of it, anxiety versus absence of it. Anything that is experienced in that dualistic appearance. That's how the dream gets so colorful, because it is so diverse. And we have, Bradley says here, at what point is the right and correct part of the wheel making contact with the ground? I love his pointing. Brilliant. Yeah. Yeah. So the whole idea of rightness and correctness and generally what's right, what's wrong, what's correct, what's incorrect, what's good, what's bad, what's pleasant, what's painful, what's preferred, what's not preferred. What are they? They again just labels. The body is naturally drawn. And the cat will be naturally drawn to something that smells pleasing and naturally moved away from something that smells not pleasing. And there is no concept that this is good or this is bad, or this is right or this is wrong. The concept comes only in the narrative. And if it is recognized as what it is, just a narrative, just labeling whatever is the natural movement, natural attraction and natural repulsion. What's wrong with the concept? Nothing. But it is not believed, it is not binding. If it's right, I don't have to defend it. If it's wrong, I don't have to object it. And if the objections or defending happens, well, that's just another arising appearance in the whole landscape of consciousness. And Dino, tell us something.
No, someone else might have something good to say.
Anyone else has something good to say? Cliff, you're poised. Yeah. Come on, Dean. Come on.
I've got a little sharing.
Oh, wonderful.
It, only very small though. One thing that Bob told me that I found very helpful was, I think it was one of the first sessions I had with Bob. I was breathing from like the upper chest, and he's like, "Just notice your breathing, like where you're breathing from." I was like, "What do you mean?" He's like, "You're breathing like from up here," and I was doing it all the time, like, and I must have been doing it for years. So then he's like, "Just breathe like right in your belly," and I was like, "Okay." So I started doing that, and I started feeling a lot better. But he picked it up pretty quick too, and I was pretty surprised because no one actually told me that.
Wow.
Yeah, it was really helpful.
Yeah.
And I was surprised how quick he picked it up too. So
Wow.
I'm assuming he had the same
Anxiety neurosis
issue.
He did.
Yeah.
Yes.
So I was very, very grateful.
Beautiful.
Breathe like a little rabbit.
Yeah, I was
Always bunny in the spotlight.
and all that. Yeah.
No, look.
Kaiman, you want to say something?
No. You go.
Thank you.
Thank you. No, all I didn't think of anything to say, but one I really like is the thinker is a thought. That there's someone here thinking it all, and it's an easy one to fall in. I've got to do this and I've got to do that. You think, oh, who's thinking all that? Oh, right. There's no one there thinking it. It's just thinking. Or there's no one there that owns the feelings, the anxious feelings or whatever, sad feelings. They're just feelings, and any thoughts that come up, I shouldn't feel this way or whatever. They're just thoughts too, and there's no actual person thinking it. Though that sense of continuity's there, but it's not me that's the continuity or me that's causing the continuity or whatever. So I often just go, well, what's wrong with right now without a thought, and realise there is nothing you can say about anything without a thought. And the moment you do, there's no thinker that's thinking that thought either. So that's about it. I was going to Dean. Good.
It's because the thought I think can't think.
Exactly.
Yeah. And can they bring up that hot water?
No. No. Well, every I was just looking at this book, and this is to me like that pointer. The thought I think can't think is everything's in this book. So the beginning of time, the Big Bang, everything is in this book, right? Let's just there's parallel universes, multiverses, galaxies. There's time. There's people. There's aliens. But in it, there's also anxiety. There's also rose petals. There's also elephants and continents and cultures and ideas and beliefs, and every single thing is in this book. This is the whole book of creation. Everything that ever was, everything that ever could be, everything that ever will be is here. And
Where's the Big
It
Bang?
was empty.
and that's the point. Like it's all, so everything exists. So in this book is the seer, the appearance of seeing, the appearance, the
Start
object
breathing.
of seeing, every object, every sense, every individual, every feeling of an individual, every sensation, every anxiety, every depression, every anything conceivable and perceivable, pretty much is in here. And the moment it's like consciousness or the universe or life itself. As soon as it's open, it's movement. And then there's time, then there's sound, then there's all these things exist, and everything seems so real. There's a person who was born, a person who's going to die. There's other people. There's and all the shit show that goes with it, and all the good, the bad, and the beautiful, and the ugly, and everything. And it's like it's all in the book.
I love that.
It's all in the book. It's all contained here. Like there's nothing outside the book. The book is everything. This is God. This is Krishna. This is Buddha. This is Jesus. This is everything that you could ever. And there's nothing can be postulated outside of this. This is the light. So it's everything, and it's just like the best book ever, isn't it? Because it's actually empty. It's totally empty, but it's totally the lot. So everything is an appearance, and including time, and including continuity, including, and even the seer. There's no seer as such. There is just seeing of the whole universe and everything, and that's it. The book's closed. The book's open. No one's doing any of it, and yet everything is appearing in it. I think. Yeah, it feels like such a grand show, and everything, nothing can be excluded from it. Everything is immediate. Everything is absolutely spontaneous, and within that, it's like everything. I keep saying the word everything because you could say the absolute. You could say everything is that, and the word everything can be that. So this is that is that, everything. So even space is saying it appears in space. It's like, whoa, but space is that as well. There's nothing outside of that. And I guess it's absolute there's no boundary whatsoever, no perimeters, no circumferences, no ups and downs and directions, no linearity, no continuity, and yet it contains all of the appearance of all of that, and most importantly, it contains the idea of a you and a me and a person who's born and going to struggle and going to die. And I think every thought is in here too. Every single thought. There's nothing outside. So every expression that is possibly. And it has to be conceivable or perceivable. It can't be, if it's not perceivable or perceivable. What is it? That which can't be perceived or is the whole book. It's pretty amazing show.
It's beautiful.
That's my little bit for today.
Yeah,
But the book kept looking at me, and the beauty, it's actually called mandala, because it is like a mandala. It's like a pattern. Like once it's open, everything, the kaleidoscope of every fractal, every element, every molecule, every atom, everything comes into life. Everything spins into existence itself. And in that existence is the sense of a me and a you and a problem and a good and a bad and an anxious person and the suffering and the death and the birth and yet it's a fractal. It's an energy, you could describe, pixelating itself, vibrating itself into these seemingly solid forms, and yet it's always emptiness. It's the whole thing is empty, and beautifully, incredibly full of the whole vibrancy of the whole show. And the end. I mean, it's done.
No, that was absolutely delightful. Yeah, Book of Consciousness. I think that's what we're gonna title today's talk, or maybe Book of Emptiness, And Julia says, everything that Dean is saying confirms that absolutely nothing is personal. So liberating. Yeah, everything's in appearance. All appears in the book. All appears in consciousness.
Of its own accord.
Absolutely.
Of its own accord. It is, and that's a difficulty and a limitation of the language to even say its own accord. It's just, the closest we get to saying, it's just happening. It's just happening.
Yep.
And the mind wants to say flow, but not even that. It's just limitless potential, and it's all occurring in, I'm going to say because, and it makes it personal, but it's in that consciousness. In that consciousness.
Experienceable directly.
Yeah, and if there were you, it's for you. It's that experience of you are that. You can't, there's no separating from it. That even that feeling of being me, pointing consciousness, all of that is not separate from everything that's happening. It's just wow. Holy shit.
And you can't understand it or believe it, take it on the world value. Okay, I agree with that. What a nonsense.
Yeah. I was talking to someone earlier about having a resentment because things weren't going their way, and I was thinking, what's my way, and what's the way you think? Things are going my way, or I want things to go my way today. There's no such thing, but then suddenly you might think, I'm having a great day. Things are going my way. or I'm having a shit day. Things are not going my way. But
another chapter.
No,
judgment.
Every
The book of judgment.
every single way is in the book.
All the ways.
Every way. There's no way that it can be excluded from it, and there is no way.
And there is no,
Exactly.
there's no my way. And it's just a whole lot of happenings. Some judge to be what you want, and some judge to be not what you want, but all imaginary.
I mean, all judgments and all wanting and all ideas of everything is still contained in the same
Book.
In the same book. So you can't get out of it. You can't get in. You can't get out of it. You can't get in it. You can't never. It's just where try moving. Try resolving. Try understanding. Try calculating. Like anywhere any kind of movement is within the book. And who's the grand poobah who's controlling this book?
Yeah, that's what I want to know.
Who's the controller? Who's orchestrating it? It is itself, as itself, doing itself, being itself. Exactly. It can't be anything other than itself. Yeah.
So when I was a child, my parents brought us to the movies one time, and my sister and I both ate each 2 boxes. And back then, you got a lot for your money, right? So we each ate 2 boxes of Junior Mints, chocolate and mint. And when we got home, both of us threw up and was cured of ever eating chocolate and mint for the majority of our lives. And I believe my sister Vanessa still does not eat chocolate and mint. However, in the field of awareness, I've seen the trauma and released the trauma, and recently experienced chocolate and mint. And yet, even here and there, and I can taste the cold creaminess, the chocolate and the mint, the separation, and have a lovely experience. At the same time, if given the opportunity, I would choose vanilla. So it brings in the conversation
of the conditionary aspects that one places in one's life to obtain perfection only to disappear. Tennis players playing on a certain court with a certain ball and racket, intention of the racket, guitar players needing the proper electricity and the setup of the guitar and the attack of the note, and the piano player, and we can spend a whole lot of time chasing, really, ultimately, the conditionary aspects that allow us to basically disappear, because that's been my experience. And so we spend all this time looking at these conditionary aspects only to find a space within ourselves where we disappear, and we reflect back on that experience saying, oh, that was one of the best experiences I've ever had in my life. But the reality is that it's available. All of it is available in a flicker of an instant by just seeing it. And we get lost. At least the artist can get lost in the conditionary aspects of trying to obtain perfection, so they can simply disappear, when the reality, again, is that just seeing it is an instant experience of gratification within the awareness of what's presenting itself in the present moment.
You can just, I was just going to say, you can just see it, like as you say, there's just seeing it, and then you think, well, I'm seeing it, and then you think as if you should be able to see it all the time or whatever, and suddenly that becomes a trap instead of just.
And that's the illusion.
Yeah, that's the illusion.
That's the illusion.
Yeah.
As if it's like, I'm trying to get back home. But you never left. There was never anywhere to go.
Yeah.
There was no front door. You can't move. Everything is being experienced. It's experiencing. It's the inging.
And the one who wants to see it all the time is not your true self anyway.
No, that's right.
Yeah. But it's beautiful. That's part of the whole illusion.
Wanting.
Yeah, the wanting the shows how the story unfolds. There's nothing wrong with it at all.
All in the book.
At all. It's beautiful.
Funny.
But then people can get a bit confused and think, oh, everything's happening right now or whatever. But this really just like, universal experience, and then another universal experience and another universal experience. And perhaps it is all existent and only certain amounts are perceived to be experienced. Different one, then a different one, then a different one. And then at some point, there's a different way of the thoughts all disappearing. And to just, and kind of, after whatever the multitudes of universal experience, I could probably just put post-its up and it would happen. And post it, coming here, someone says something and it all goes away. And that's just, a series of universal experience of the entire universe, having a particular setup and then another setup and another setup, and it's not ever going to pop up here probably the correct way each one of those setups occurred. Perhaps that was all there and only some bits were seen, who knows, but it's not like it's all there all the time, because certainly the perception is of a different shape in the next moment, a different shape, different shape showing up, and there's just no there's no know-it-all, I don't think, out there. Yeah.
And there's no gold standard. You know what I mean by that? There's no, it's constant change. That is the whole point of it. It's so constant. It's constantly revolving, kaleidoscope changing. There is no one state to be aimed for as the state of perfection. Does that make sense? in the dream. It's just not. It's just God is what it is.
Yeah.
It is what it is. What is this? What will be will be. Let it be. You know, say la vie or whatever. This is, you know. That's it. Stop there. No more.
I can't actually remember what I was saying.
Okay, so give it to Dean. He's gonna.
Because in this book, there's actually like absolute order. There's predictable patterns. There's total anarchy and total chaos. Everything is included. So there is nothing that can be. There's no particular specific formula or way anyone can understand it, because it can be randomized, completely random, or it can appear, and it's always changing. It's always moving to predictability, to complete unpredictability, and then to be like, eventually to see this is absolute freedom, and it's boundless, because there's no place, there's no particular resting position that anyone needs to be in, because there isn't anyone, and there's nothing, and it's in constant change, that there can be discomfort, dysregulation, tension, or peace. All of it is included, and everything's possible, and everything's available, and everything is at the mercy of
Big brother.
The thoughts keep they want to find that place.
Yes.
They go, there is that place of perfect peace and happiness somewhere.
Yes. And the peace is that complete letting go of all personal volition, to understand that it can be peace and chaos and anarchy and madness and depression and exhilaration and every emotion conceivable, once again.
So I think I agree. Even books, like people write endless books trying to answer that, seeking to find
Contentment.
contentment. Bible, all other books to answer all the big questions in life, give us some sort of security. But really, we have it all here right now. We have all the answers. We have everything. We don't need a book. We don't need
it, but
anything.
But we're always.
You sparked that. That makes sense.
The thing is, you're not seeking, but we're always exploring, and stuff is always being revealed anyway. You know, it's the constant changing and revealing going on. And,
Just different little moments and bits have stood out to me. The talk of hypnosis and how we hypnotize ourselves. The talk of gratification. What did you just say?
Giving like meaning to big life questions, like writing about it, and then giving us that
chasing that contentment through books and stories,
trying to fill that void.
And trying to fill that void. I've been just sitting with the idea. I'm in a crossroads of careers at the moment, so I'm just sitting in this unknown void, and there's just been like a desire for clarity. But in that desire, like once you achieve a desire, what is there? There's like a peacefulness, and you get caught chasing that desire to have this feeling of emptiness or fulfillment. But that's already here. But we get caught on these desires, these thoughts. But when you drop the desires and thoughts, what you're actually looking for is already here. There's nowhere to go. There's nothing to get. But we've hypnotized ourselves to believe that something external is going to fill that void or bring that peace. But in the seeing and realizing the seer, there is already peace, watching and holding it all.
We have a couple of comments here. Michael says, so special to be listening in and watching. Love you guys. And Peter says, and we love you too, Michael. Peter says, it's just the ing. Yay. Thank you, Peter. And love it, he says too. And thank you, message. Yeah, just stepping back and see that even chasing, even the desire appearing as a really charged, emotionally charged thought is an appearance, again, on one of those pages of a book or in that ever-present, omnipresent, cognizing emptiness called consciousness. Because you are, there is a desire. If you were in coma, there wouldn't be any. So the desire is like a guest coming up. Hello. And it is all, space doesn't mind. It doesn't push anything away. It doesn't, it doesn't have a problem. Even with this, heroin addict looking for survival in sedating the pain of existence. Space does not mind. Even though in long run it doesn't pay off, if there is no better option in the moment, well, that's what the life does. Life is always that predicament in the description of Hindu Satchitananda. The existence, the knowing or the consciousness, and the contentment or love of being, preference for being. That preference for being means survival. That being always does its best by default.
But sometimes those, pain avoidance strategies or whatever, like an addiction or an obsession, it seems like a way of surviving, yes, but then it's a trap too, because the mind keeps wanting to escape from its obsessions and addictions, and that's it becomes such an all-pervading occupation for the mind itself, that being in what was pain avoidance but then becomes painful itself too.
Absolutely. And the suffering is not just for that one body, mind, organism through which the life is experiencing itself. It's the whole family. It's a lot of psychological suffering, physical suffering, a lot of suffering, a lot of pain. And from the perspective of space, if not for pain, there would be no pleasure. If not for sadness, there would be no joy. And space does not believe that night is bad and day is good, that heaven is good and hell is bad. They're all equal. And I remember we having that conversation. I think I had it a couple of times too, when people say, so when will those stories stop coming up? And I say, no, it gets better than that. The freedom is so huge that you don't mind anything. Even the stories of anger, fear, dysregulation, all welcome. How much better is that than just trying to get only to the pleasant part of the dream and avoid the unpleasant? If the freedom that space-like awareness, the cognizing emptiness holds, is the freedom in which you can stub your toe too, and you will, and that is in the book. That is also what's happening, also impersonal, and the resistance to that stub toe. Yes, welcome, yummy, and the anger because of the resistance. Ooh, wow, gets more juicy. Bring it on.
It's all part of it, isn't it?
And space doesn't mind any of it.
Sometimes I think, like, you watch by the side of a river, you might see a leaf trapped in this stream going round and round and round. Maybe the leaf wants to get out of that pattern, but nothing can happen. It just is like that until suddenly the river itself flushes it out or something, and it all frees up again. But there's strange things like that.
And from the perspective of the life experienced and expressed through an addict, a life has a value and a quality and love of being quality.
Absolutely.
As much as the life of a celebrated, whatever, religious dignitary or rock star. And they all temporary, they all impermanent, they all dreams. In 100 years, neither of them is going to be here. Who cares? It is just the moment now. In the story, and Dina, we assisted in some trauma release therapy, and we had that really traumatized meth addict and a heroin addict, and wow, that was supremely intense. But the love of being in the moment of release was as beautiful as any, when it's clear, when it shines out, is absolutely beautiful. And at the same time, of course, there are people suffering of depression when there is objectively nothing wrong. Nothing wrong. And they are, through that light of being, shining through the addict equally as it shines through the winner, or shine through the person with big physical challenge or mental illness.
Yeah. You can say that, like point out to someone with depression what's wrong with right now without a thought, and they'll go, oh yeah, there isn't anything wrong. But still, the pattern is not that easy to, it can be escaped from any time in the now, but you don't know when that'll be, it's like, and, there's great quality of life available too while that pattern's going on, but who knows? They always go, when will this finish, or when will I be free? But there's no answer to that.
No, because again, from the perspective of that essence, of that field of energy, like electricity, for example, it has so many globes to shine through. Through some it will be dim forever. Through some it will die, or it will break, or it will flicker.
True.
So you have so many people with different degree of issues or challenges or depression or anxiety neurosis. And that life essence experiencing itself just like that electricity through the globe. Sometimes it flickers, sometimes it looks for help, sometimes it finds the chemical imbalance in the system and corrects that. Sometimes it goes to the psychedelic assisted therapy and things pop. Sometimes they don't. Sometimes they go and jump off the building. And again, does life ever die?
No.
And from the individual perspective, the book looks completely different. You have a person, I have in my family a person suffering from addiction, not the heroin, but addiction nonetheless. And if you look closer, today almost anyone and everyone is addicted to whatever, screens, shopping, food, snacks, whatever. So if you look at any of those repeated dissatisfying tendencies which promise the dopamine rush and deliver for a moment and then become habituated and they don't deliver anymore. So the suffering that comes with it.
But they're all an escape from pain in the first place, aren't they? Like, it is to
or boredom.
Seem to escape the bondage of self through the obsession or the addiction or whatever the substance or behavior is.
The boredom. See, one of our cats can't have food left on the plate. She'll just keep coming back to it. The other one, he will eat whatever he needs to eat to fill the stomach and will walk away.
Yeah.
It's just, whatever the reason, it's sometimes maybe just the unbearable ache of existence, like I think Freud said it or something. Or that was a quote. I don't know if I'll be quoting it right. The therapy is aiming at transforming unbearable pain of existence into a bearable struggle yeah, go on.
I think Nisargadatta says it too. Is at one stage he says, "Dying is easy, living is the hard."
That unbearable pain of existence reminded me of the title of the book, Unbearable Lightness of Being.
Oh wow, yeah. Again.
And hearing people, you're talking about looking for that fulfillment and the cats. I remember coming home one day and seeing this brown Labrador. I'd left a box of Weet Bix on the floor, and this Labrador had no access to water and slowly just tried to eat. We got home and there was like 100 Weet Bix in this big box. And you could see him wanting more, but knowing he couldn't. And then he was still just trying to eat all the Weet Bix. And I was like, oh my God. And I opened up this door and he's run to get some water. But I was just like, no matter how much, there's that wanting. So it was amazing just seeing it in this dog that I guess we've manipulated to not know when it's full.
Yeah. It's taking on the thirst.
Yeah.
But that's all that was available at that time. Yeah.
Yeah, I just see for the like pain or boredom, I just see it as discomfort, and it's that discomfort we go to escape from. And I find that when the discomfort's sat with, and for here it's usually fear gets followed, and then a bunch of stuff is revealed, and then it dissipates in various ways. And then sometimes when there's a look back, it's a scan, there's just like nothing there, and part of the life gets better. But also when I looked at boredom and looked more closely, it was an ick feeling that was just associated with like the smallest distinction going on, and when there were no little distinction there, and thoughts went, no thoughts came up at all that made a little distinction, the ick feeling went away, and you're back in the moment. But yeah, boredom was ick and discomfort, and I don't think I've really had severe emotional pains really in my life. Mine's have been more about survival and discomfort at everything, and still get a lot of that. And
How blessed.
yeah, I know, very lucky. And also the other one, I don't get raging emotions, so that also makes it easier to do the observation and stuff. So there's a lot of blessings, definitely. Like I've seen people come here and oh, there's that. Oh my gosh, that must be so in the way, But yeah, but I just find there's a lovely process going on, and it might crap out for a week, and then there'll be discomfort around that, or it might be, well, there's been a lot of letting go happening this week. Wow, that's cool.
Yeah.
And life clears up, and then there's more space and time for more letting go, and it doesn't matter whether there's a letting go process happening or in the moment process, being state. Really it's just so clear, it's all just going to come as it comes. Absolutely no preference for any one or the other. There'll still be lots of reactions and shit, going down. But, yeah. So I've lost any thread of comment. Meaningful comment. Yeah.
Wonderful. Freedom from preference. Wow. Wow. And reactions, fascinating what the reactions are going to be. How amazing. And Peter says here, never open Pandora box, an old Greek myth. And Julia says, I'm very grateful for these meetings. The message always resonates on a deep level. Thank you, Julia. Yeah, it's a great joy to bring back, to share that effortlessness of existence.
Is Julia going to be home in January?
That's not this Julia. It's a different American Julia from America, actually.
Okay.
But yeah, she might be. I don't know. Yeah, she's been here last week, but yeah. I was gonna point out something, but it just escaped. So, anyone? Anything? Anthony, did you want to mind? No? Jimmy?
Feel often, going back to I guess what I was saying before, we often get trapped looking for satisfaction and fulfillment of things. Often we have ideas the way things should be, the way things could be, and we spend all our lives with these concepts and ideas. But how often do we give any time of day to the idea that we're already free. And if we sat with this idea, I am free, and live from that space, what things might look like and how things might change. Just something to explore.
Beautiful.
That's why the meetings used to start with the fact that you're already that, because you're already free to begin with, and this meeting is a reminder of that one essence. Again, patterning, shaping, forming is every expression, every feeling, every junior mint, every decision maker, everything's is in here, and but obviously from an individualized perspective, like if it seems like you're one grain milli less than a milli something or other, so minute, looking out at all of it. There's trouble looming, and because there's seemingly an individual, but it's the whole book is making every single bit of it happen too. So every emotion, every feeling is not is there's nothing separate. So that thought of I need to see these things differently is conspired by the whole universe. So wow, like isn't that incredible when that becomes like so obvious that so there's nothing personal any longer. Every thought, every feeling, every sensation, everything perceivable, conceivable, back to the damn book is it's everything is doing it. So there's total innocence in that. There's total boundlessness. There's total resolution to everything is the perfection. Everything has to be resolved because it just is, and there's nothing other than that. And so, but I think like even just really seeing that junior mint, those the whole universe made that happen.
So the thing was that I didn't mention is when confronted with it, what came up was the trauma, but it came up and they had a physical experience along with the story. It was an experience of just allowing the physicality of what it is, that revealed the beauty of it. And that just within a flicker of an instant, I was able to experience the chocolate and the mint of what it is, rather than pulling from a very strong story.
Yes.
So it's just
Where do I get a copy of the book? That's the trap.
Yes.
I think I need to try that with the banana chips and the flu combination, or the tequila worms and the beer combination, because I can't really have those anymore.
So apparently, American Constitution says that everyone has a right to pursue happiness. We don't even need those rights guaranteed. The part of the survival instinct, which is loving to be, is actually pursuing happiness. The ant will go for the honey. The bee will go for the flower. The child will go for a mint. And then also there is self-upgrading and self-organizing and constantly learning survival system there that, again, on autopilot, will pursue pleasure in a way that will assert as safe as possible. Everything spontaneously, naturally appearing, and in some cases, pursuing pleasure will end up in an addiction. And in some cases, this addiction will be absolutely necessary amplification of suffering for the spiritual search to even start. And in some cases, that spiritual search will be part of the story with a happy ending. And in others, it will be a story with a different ending. And either way, they are all just the stories in the book.
Occurring, it could occur no other way.
No other way.
No other way. Just happening as it's happening. Stuff that's seemingly not happening and the stuff that is happening. There's no, the idea of right and wrong and how it should be is just that, an idea. An idea that is occurring in the whole thing. What a joke.
Last word. And they lived happily ever after. The end.
Unborn. And I think that's the time.
Yeah.
Yeah, thank you everyone.